As usual, I like to start off with some good news. And the good news is that Lancashire County Council have made a decision to leave the flags flying. So all the flags that have been put on lampposts are going to be left up. They think it's a good idea. They think it shows patriotism. And in fact, Deputy Leader, Councillor Simon Evans said it made him feel proud. They've been done in a very organised way in most of the towns, all at the same height along the lampposts, and of course lampposts are controlled by highways, so highways are controlled by Lancashire County Council, so they've got the say-so in it. It's a reform-held council. This may be repeated across the country, which is a good idea, and it's quite heartwarming to see, isn't it? Our own flag in our own country, who'd have thunked it? In other news, across in Europe, it's pretty disastrous. I'll read you part of a message from a friend of mine who lives in France, and I use him a lot because he's highly intelligent, he's bilingual, and he knows the score politically. And he said, "Good morning, June. France is being blocked by protesters everywhere, not helped by a president who has just put one of his friends into the job of Prime Minister. The man has never been an MP. He was parachuted into the job of Minister of Defence in 2022, and now he's Prime Minister." See how they just slot people in? Macron was the same. Varadkar in Southern Ireland. You can't trust these people. A few days ago, he says, you mentioned digital ID, which I did. ID cards in France, they have your photo and fingerprints, but are rarely asked for because they are still not legal. They're not a requirement. When we were all required to have a swab and anti-COVID injections to leave the house or to go to work during the lockdown, I said to a neighbour who happens to be a brigadier in the police, I take it the first swab stick is for the medics and the second swab stick is for the DNA files. And he said, well done. Who told you? In theory, nobody was tested for DNA for their ID cards. They show your photo, date and place of birth, height and address. It doesn't have your social security number, and I have not seen the details of their computer terminals other than fingerprints. But it's strange that they were double swabbed. So he then went on to say about Belgium. Belgium, on the other hand, is and has been a full-blown control card for perhaps the last 12, 13 years because he's got relatives who live there. They're going to try and do this. And we have to resist it. Together Declaration, a big pushing this at the moment. And obviously Reform Party behind it. I'm not sure what the small parties are doing, but it is something we have to push back on because it's the gateway to the rest of the tribe that they want. We have to resist it as long as we can. And the good thing is, as we've taken back control at council level, this is good to see that it can be done. And this isn't to mention the money that they're saving. I mean, these contracts that have been dished out at council level, some have been for 27 years. Taxi rides for school runs that never took place for years. There's been a lot of stuff going on that we've never been privy to. Thankfully, the new council at Lancashire, and I think the other ones across the country, are being far more transparent and announcing things and showing video footage of council meetings. This transparency can move forward into central government. Currently, at the moment, we've got the usual bad actors jockeying for war. That's how I see it. We've got Tusk in Poland. We've got our own leader. He's not a leader, he's a stooge. And we've got Rutte, who's the head of NATO now. He used to be the Prime Minister of Holland, and he tried to ruin Dutch farming. He decimated it. He tried to take land. It was land seizure. It was nothing short of land seizure. And now he's in. You see how they shuffle him around? You know, Christine Lagarde found guilty of her part in a 400 million euro fraud. What happened to her? She got arrested. She got investigated. She got tried. She got found guilty. Did she serve a sentence? No, she didn't serve a day. She didn't pay a fine. She got moved from the IMF as the leader to the European Central Bank, which is a promotion. It's actually in the constitution of the EU that if you work for the IMF or the OECD B, they don't serve any sentences, even if they're convicted of crimes. That's what you're dealing with. That's totalitarianism for you. But it was packaged up quite nice, wasn't it? Oh, look at us, we're the EU. Come, bring your pets, use the pet passport scheme. Here's a HEIX card, and you can reciprocal health till we nail you. Anyway, the Brits voted Brexit, didn't they? But kind of got it. And even the benefits that we've achieved, nobody's utilised them. Nobody's done anything because our leaders didn't want us to leave. Both parties didn't want us to leave, and that's why they're toast. This all goes back to the Brexit vote. 17.4 million people bothered to turn out and vote and basically got shafted, dragged on for years. And then when it came, what happened? Within 3 months, we're locked down. Very odd. And all these characters now, Carney's moved from the Bank of England. He's now gone to Canada. You see how they all get shuffled about? It's all smoke and mirrors, is politics. And very few people are willing to even have a go at changing it. So we've got our own leader in, and this is what gets me, because Reform are doing a more transparent approach to politics, to housing, to healthcare, to everything. They're copying the Trump administration in a way. Starmer's actually taking time out in Westminster, in PMQs, to diss Reform. Now, why would you do that? There's only 4 MPs. They shouldn't even figure on his radar. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the words to my little song yesterday, if you haven't seen it yet, are bang to rights, aren't they? The government's worried because this is a new era of transparency. And, Asim Malhotra's speech has been condemned by all the people who told you to join in the rollout, despite the fact the European COVID inquiry discovered that it had never been tested for transmission. That was discovered. So these characters aren't trustworthy, and I think they don't get any more untrustworthy than Peter Mandleson. And even the mainstream media, even Sky are doorstepping him now. They did quite a good piece yesterday. Someone sent me a clip. Sky TV, I couldn't believe it. So there's Mandleson getting, the ambassador. I can't tell you what my husband thinks. I can't even tell you how my husband describes him. And he's coming out of some building somewhere and he's full of himself, getting in his chauffeur-driven car. And the doorstep him. And, he's polite at first till they start going on about Epstein and his association with him. And he says he wished he'd never been associated with the man for so long. Really? You were doing business deals while you were in office with the man. How much money has been made by this stuff? How many palms have been greased? How much have these people actually benefited that we don't know about? This man is a slippery snake. So we've got to watch what's going on here because they're all bigging it up in Europe. Like, oh, Putin man bad, poor Ukraine, let's fight, give us more money, we need more weapons. And that's probably one of the few things that could avoid an election. And if you're not a popular leader, and he's not a popular leader, how do you avoid an election? An emergency. You can't trust these people. You cannot trust them. That's a fact. So we have to be double cautious when we're moving forward. But remember the strength in fighting this from the grassroots up. That is such a powerful tool because currently we're saving money in the councils. Sadly, it's only going to go off bringing down the debt that they've got left. But this is a start because if they hadn't won control of these councils, they'd have just continued spending money on batshit crazy stuff when they could have been spending money on gully wagons clearing the drains. You can't blame localised flooding on the climate when you've got one street, have 5. I mean, I've got 3 outside my house. They're always blocked up. Dave clears them. When the water can't escape. That's nothing to do with weather patterns. That's infrastructure maintenance. And it's not got done. And on top of that, they build more houses. So we've got to keep an eye on everything, and I think a good place to start is if you can get involved at a local level. I went to a parish council meeting last night, got involved on a local level with a local issue, made a difference, pleased to say, and I think this is how it's got to be done moving forward. Keep your eye on the small stuff. It's a bit like take care of the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves type attitude.